All right, here we find ourselves at 12 p.m. Thank you, beloved, on another Sunday afternoon, Sunday, March 19th, for the ministry that I'm not going to call myself the host, for the ministry that we are all hosting, psychiatricsobriety.com. This is our 69th Sunday morning Zoom call. Hey, folks, we must be doing something right, because if you got 69 of these recorded on YouTube, somewhere out there, there's a message that has to be stamped. It has to be, it's like the Iwo Jima, we're planting the flag, we're done with the psych meds. We're done with the mental illness, diagnoses. We're just, we're done. We're really, really done. By the time you get here, you're through. You say, I am what I am. That's all that I am. That's my story in a nutshell. I'm 55. I'm going to be 56 next month. And one day I just woke up and I said, listen, I did not come here to have bipolar. I did not come here to have ADHD. I came here to be happy, and I came here to love. So, thank you, doctors, but goodbye. And basically that's all of us. And I'm taking it with a lot of jest, but this is serious, because in order to say goodbye to psychiatry, I had to let go of handfuls and handfuls and handfuls of pills. Serious. That is why I'm hosting these, because I know if it were not for the pills, I probably wouldn't be doing this, but I know what it takes. I really know, because I went through some very difficult, frightening, painful, confusing withdrawals, and I almost ended my life. And thank God, by the grace of God, I didn't, because I'm here, I'm happy, I'm joyful, and I'm a little bit rough around the edges, but I'm completely psychiatrically sober. And I've got a testimony to help others who want it. It's free for the taking. So we come here once a week on Sunday. I'm here with my mighty companions, Beloved and Greg. Generally, a few more stragglers come up. Stragglers, that's not a right word, but a few more people kind of come into the room. And what we do is we unwind ourselves from these disempowering narratives. We love ourselves out of this. We've all found a better way. And if you haven't found a better way, come on board and we'll share with you what we've discovered. It's a ministry, because that better way does not come from the five senses. It does not come from, you can't taste it, touch it, smell it, hear it, or see it. But we are all here to say there is a better way outside of that model, above the battleground, forest for the trees. We found a place. It's got to be a ministry, because we were blessed with a place, with a truth that doesn't contain mental illnesses. And truly, it's a life of grace. All of us have been graced. Who would not want to share? Actually, the only way to keep grace is to share it. So it's funny, Beloved's last name on Beloved Grace. So for a reason. So for disclaimer purposes, folks, none of us are telling anyone they need to get off their psych meds. As a matter of fact, that would be harmful, that would be reckless, and that would be cruel. We all, not all of us, but some of us were fortunate, not fortunate, some of us never went down that road. But for those of us who did, we know what it takes to get off those. We're here to share experience, strength, and hope. That's why it's called psychiatric sobriety, because I started 12-step programs back in the 80s. Bill W. was onto something. The 12-step programs kick ass. And I couldn't be more grateful. I owe my whole life to them. So that was a 3-minute introduction. I think I'm pretty much covered all the bases. It's going to be recorded for YouTube for 1 hour. So if anything is too fragile, too delicate for the internet, wait and share it afterwards. But I just encourage you. The way I got sober from drugs, alcohol, and all those pharmaceuticals, including benzodiazepines, the way I got sober is I stopped caring what other people think. I stopped caring about my reputation. Trying to look good was part of my mental illness. And as soon as I just went out there and I said, look, folks, I've been addicted to drugs. I've been addicted to alcohol. I've been addicted to morphine. I've been on 4 milligrams of Klonopin. I've been on dozens and dozens of psychiatric meds, mood stablers, antidepressant, anti-anxiety, sleep, on and on and on. I've been addicted to sex. And all of a sudden, none of my fears came true, and all of the miracles began to germinate. It's really that simple, but it takes a lot of courage, because we have to face the unknown. The unknown is thinking that we're going to be judged. The discovery was that I was the only one judging myself. All right, that goes on 4 minutes. Because it's a ministry, the healer's prayer. It's not a religious ministry. We're not here to bow down and worship to a God that's going to, judge us for our sins. That's not a ministry. That's a cult. A ministry is saying, we don't know, we're willing to be shown, and the only purpose is love, period. Fear got me into mine, love busted me out. The healer's prayer goes like this. We are here only to be truly helpful, and we are here to represent him or her who sent us. We do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he or she who sent us will direct us. We are content to be wherever he or she wishes, knowing that he or she goes there with us, and we are being healed because we are letting him or her show us how to heal. I can't keep it unless I give it away, and I need to teach what I would need to, and I must teach what I need to learn. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. How is everybody this morning? Let's go. Help us find a topic. We'll just start going. We're just going to rip roar through the entire week, and the topic's going to find us. Like last week, it was Wile E. Coyote is a mentally ill genius. It was brilliant. Let's find another one. Go.
I like it.
Well, let me say that I'm discovering that my grievances are a source of confusion. And I think confusion is a good, another name for what they call mental illness. Just confusion, just confusion. And in my confusion, those who are my savior, I saw as my enemy. That's pretty confusing, isn't it? So imagine the light is coming for you and you think it's the darkness. How are we going to find our way if we're going the opposite direction of that which has come to enlighten us? That is what I'm finding. And that I have to look at those I thought have harmed me, attacked me, had it in for me, did something to me, damaged me maybe if I thought that, molested me, tortured me, was mean to me, hurt. All those are my grievances. And I see I have just stacked them all up. So I have a wall of grievances around me. And how am I going to, how does it access, exactly, how does that light access us through our grievances? And like Kenneth said, the courage it takes to look at those grievances and feel them, and then to say, what would happen just for a second if I didn't have that grievance against this? Just take a breath in and look at that person without my story about them, my beliefs of what they did to me. And even to say, oh, what if that was my savior? How could that possibly be?
Yeah.
Takes an open mind, an open heart, courage.
You realize, and I've said it before, that the holiest place on earth is where an ancient hatred has been alchemized into a present love.
Yeah. Into what? Present love? Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that takes time to get to. That takes time to get to.
Takes, just like Beloved said, this is warrior material.
Yeah.
My grievances created my bipolar, my ADHD, my insomnia, my depression, and ultimately my borderline personality, my schizophrenia, my sex addiction, my alcohol addiction, my grievances.
Right.
I had to eat humble pie. By the way, people were tired of hearing. I noticed the patterns. I just keep telling the story over and over, and I just keep getting the same results back and back and back. I was on a looping Groundhog Day. Just like Beloved said, but it can't be done. Again, it can't be done with the five senses. This is a moment of grace. You know, truly, in the five senses, the story of Kenneth had abuse. In the story, in the five senses, the story. Now, like the 12 steps said, you know, first step is number one, we admitted. Number two, we came to believe. Truly, it was an act of grace that showed me the higher truth so that I could finally turn around and thank who I had labeled perpetrators in the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then the you know, all of a sudden those mental illnesses, I didn't need them anymore.
Right.
But here's what it takes. We've got to come clean. We can't pretend that we don't have the grievances. That's another mental illness. That's called denial. No, I'm fine. I had the perfect childhood. I'm not angry, you know. I'm not angry. Yeah, you are. I'm afraid you are, sweetie.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was too. And I'm not going to judge you, but it does have to come out. This is a fine. I mean, I don't have any credentials in psychology or therapy or life coaching, not like Jody does, but I just know intuitively. Number one, it's got to come out, and it's got to be met, caught in a container of love. Not a, oh, it's okay. No, that's not love. That's false empathy. It's got to be heard, seen, and then you know, surgically, you know, the master, and I'm no master, but I'm watching and seeing them, like the scene from Good Will Hunting, where Robin Williams goes in for the kill for Matt Damon. And if you haven't seen that scene, it's a must.
It's not your fault, you mean? Is that what you mean by in for the kill?
I'm using kill, you know, as an inappropriate word because Robin Williams, no one can penetrate Matt Damon, and he has a reason to be pissed off, don't we all?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of us have been pretty smacked around as kids. Now, Robin Williams, no one can penetrate this. This is the highest paid psychiatrists and psychologists aren't budging with Matt Damon. He doesn't need a psychologist. He needs love. Robin Williams goes in there, makes eye contact with him, and starts getting closer and says, "It wasn't your fault." See, at that moment, Matt Damon broke down and started sobbing. Those tears. You know, in my story, it finally all became clear. Yes, I was angry, and following. First, I was in denial. I'm fine. I'm fine. You know, line of coke. You know, drink, sex. I'm fine. No, you're not, Kenneth. Powder keg. Well, you know, powder keg got opened prematurely without a higher power. And, here came the rage. Beloved's raising, you know, nodding her head, because I was pissed at God. You know, God, how can you allow this? You know, have we not been there?
Definitely, he is the damn bad guy.
Now, when grace allowed this man to begin shed his man tears, it was all very clear. I had grieved the dream character. Just like Beloved said, all of that was engineered. I engineered it to surrender the dream character by the name of Kenny. I created those characters. I created the stories of abuse because at the highest possible level, it was time to wake up. That is why I created my own mental illnesses, because I so desperately said, I'm done. I gotta wake up this time around. So now, just like Beloved, I get to thank who I once to. And that is why it is said, the holiest ground on earth is where an ancient hatred has been alchemized to a present love.
And it feels like peace.
Yeah.
And I get glimpses of it when I've forgiven like some main characters in my story. Oh my God. I mean, it's not just everything changes. It's like I have a whole another life. It's like I get like 20 years younger. I mean, my health, everything in the dream improves with forgiveness. And forgiveness doesn't mean you did it and I'm so holy, I'm going to forgive you. No, it can't mean that, because that's not possible. Forgiveness means that I'm taking responsibility. I'm going to see what was in me that either is perpetuating this suffering, like my hate of you that I think did this to me. Okay, I mean, like Kenneth said, I'm not going to deny that whatever happened, happened. So, but I'm going to take my part in the perpetuation and the suffering that I believed into my life as a result of what I believed happened to me. You see? So I just added to it. And it may have happened once, but it's happening over and over and over in my grievances. And not only that, it spreads to everybody else. It is contagious, grievances. And I like them. They made me. I created this person of grievances, and that didn't cry. I found out, I don't know about you, but I don't think I ever saw my mother cry.
Right.
And if I did, I would think I would freak out, because to me, she was the strongest woman alive. All the shit she took and all the things she could do and how strong she was to do what she did in her life. And I'm that mother. I wouldn't cry in front of my daughters. I think they would freak out if they saw I was human. And someone brought it to my attention that perhaps I could be vulnerable.
Can I wrap that up in one word to keep it very simple? That's called rebirth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We can't be reborn unless we've been born. First, we have to write a story. First, and you know what? I think the messier the better. I'm not popular in spiritual school. In spiritual.
Yeah, right.
I want a messy story, because I want a very colorful sand mandala that takes time and brilliance. Because when the moment comes to take that broom and sweep it away, we get off stage and we accept the Academy Award with humility, just like Brendan Fraser did for The Whale. Brendan Fraser is a perfect example. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but
I haven't seen it. I want to see it. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Because
go
Brendan
ahead.
Fraser, he stayed out of the limelight. I think he was gone for 10 or 15 years. George of the Jungle, what are some of these other, beautiful buff man, completely just Adonis, all the women and the gay men were just slobbering over him. He disappeared for 15 years.
Yeah.
He came back as a middle-aged, overweight man to go even further, to play the role of a gay, obese man. And, this is his rebirth. He did not come back with this beautiful chiseled, body. He came back with a grotesque body. But what he did in that movie, thank God he won the Oscar, because I want everyone to go see it.
I'm going to see it.
That's about the character of Brendan Fraser. Exactly what we've been doing here with the Course in Miracles. The spirit will use everything that the ego made. The ego made. I'm not saying there was a lot of creativity, a lot of brilliance, but let's face it. Some of those earlier films, a lot of it, George of the Jungle. Give me a break. The ego made that, but that's perfect. The ego made it for a reason. Now that he got his name out there, we got the real message. Go see the film.
And I heard it came out of some of his suffering.
Had to. I don't know where that meant.
What he said was that why he was gone, because he felt when the Me Too movement came out, he was a victim of that. And he was shunned. He was, because he spoke out. about somebody who had inappropriately made advances to him.
Yeah.
And so, I
You
mean, we
want
all,
to
go ahead.
you want to talk about, shaming yourself publicly, and that's basically what I've done. Because what I finally realized is actually shame is another trick of the ego. No, we expose it all, and as far as this making mistakes, please, folks. Carol Burnett once said, "If you're going to make a mistake, make a big one." That's part of the San Juan dollar we're sweeping away, so we can get out there and deliver, similar to what he did with that movie.
I love that, like embrace. I love the picture of making this beautiful mandala, because it shows how I am reluctant to let go of some of them, my grievances. Even as beautiful, I think they're beautiful. I mean, I made them, I crafted them over the years. I put a lot of energy in this. I think, but what the message is that the beauty is never gone from whatever we've done, only the stuff that wasn't real, right? Because if
Yeah.
we're all set up if the whole setup is for us to find that we're here for love, we're made by love, that's all there is love, then all that's left is that beauty of it, and all the stories of the grief, all that's swept away, so that the light is, I mean, once you see a beautiful mandala, even though they sweep it away, are you going to forget how beautiful the beauty's left, right?
Yeah.
The beauty's left.
Do you remember the character Gollum?
Sure. My precious.
The ring.
My precious. Exactly.
That's why they had
Yes.
to throw the
That's
ring.
what we made. Yeah. Raina is my precious. And I think we have to
Like a
honor that.
fire.
And we're allowed to. We're not here to judge or condemn or say, because if we do that to us, then we have to do it to everybody else. And that's why we do, because we've done it to me. If I'm feeling bad, believe me, you're gonna feel bad too. Right? I'm gonna want you to feel bad because especially if I think you're causing me to feel bad. That's just the setup.
It's all. It's been. I hate to sound like an alcoholic or somebody in a 12-step group but it's been 27 months for me, and I started doing this with a half a brain. I definitely had brain damage at first because of the benzos. And it's just taken so much time for me, because at first I couldn't even really do much of this work. The despair and the fear and the anger, those were not only reality, but that was also symptoms, and I've only been able to take little bites of it at times. And I had to, at first, denial has its purpose. And I had to do denial first. And, I'm just thinking that all of it, it's just kind of confusing knowing when to move forward. And, it's good to get to that point, but you don't just get to it. You've got to feel the resentment before you can get to the good part. You've got to feel, I told y'all before, it took me a little while before I could even get to this group. It took me a while. Before I started seeing a homeopath, I wanted to be sick, and that darkness, it has its purpose too. And it just, it's been confusing for me, and it just takes time. Yeah, it's confusing. It's confusing. And it's taken a long time to get to this point where I'm at. Somebody said you don't go over the shadow of the valley of the darkness. You don't go around it. You've got to go through it, And I've been, a lot of it for me, I did have to just, man up, pull myself up by the bootstraps and move forward. But now it's kind of like, now I'm starting to have to do a little something that's more like, feel those feelings and everything, because now my brain's healed and a little bit more, and I can do a little bit more each time and feel those feelings with a bit of mental stability. And it's just, for me, it's been a very confusing path. knowing which to do and what to do, when to do it. Because, I mean, I had a bad week. I really did. I fell out of my rhythm, and my daily rhythm of getting up and going and doing this and doing that. I took a break, but I found out that I'm still not able to take a break. I'm still having to move forward and push ahead to a certain degree before I can really, go much more into the work. Because I'll tell you this, I looked at photos. I looked at family photos, and a lot of them I didn't remember. And I realized, like, those ECTs and those benzos took a lot of memories away. And then I realized it wasn't just that. I was looking at pictures of family. And the next day I was doing my therapeutic drive to a national park to do my hiking. And I had dissociated the whole way there. And, I got there in about 15 minutes, and I didn't realize it. And I kind of realized I can't face all of it right now, not quite yet, and really, I had a sponsor, and she told me, she said, Greg, you can't just sit around and take, flower essences. And she didn't really understand how powerful they were, flower essences, but I'm like, I'm doing that just so I can do the work. I'm doing the homeopathy so I can be well enough to do the work. So I'm still pretty fragile, and homeopathy really is putting me to a place to where I can face all of this, where I can do this, where I'm well enough to do the project, because I'm still pretty sick, and I fell out of my rhythm, I fell out of my order, and I'm finding out that I'm still in a space where I'm having to push ahead. And slowly, I'll get to that point to where I can feel it all and start doing more. And yes, I am very obsessed with homeopathy. I am very obsessed. One thing I've heard the Cherokee used to call trauma was soul loss. They called it soul loss. And that makes perfect sense to me with homeopathy, is because what homeopathy is, it's a very slight stimulus. It's not something outside of you. It's something very small that you take for a little while. It's not permanent, what you have to do, and when you're done, you're done. But it heals that soul loss. It heals the soul. And that's really still the process that I'm doing right now. I'm trying to heal the soul, because the soul, as much as we need to trust it and believe in it, the soul was broken. And when the soul heals, I'm a very big believer that when the soul heals, the body and the brain will heal. I am very, very big believer that energy, definitely the soul exists, and that it can be healed. And I think it just takes a lot of effort. In our society where it doesn't use alternative healing, it definitely takes a lot of money, because insurance doesn't pay for it.
It don't pay for it, does it? That's why I had to find my own way.
Well, we're trained to be sick. We're not. We're in a world of disease management, not in healing.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right.
There's something I want to even add to that, Greg. That just the first thing that came to mind as you were talking was the law of attraction.
Well, yeah.
Oh, a brand new idea. No, it's not a new idea. It's been around for thousands since. What it is, I know confusion too, and I will share with you what my experience is. I hope this is how I extend encouragement. Is I began to attract resources. I became a magnet for solutions.
Right.
This is what each person's going to come and say, what do I do? And we provide the tools, and the doing finds us. That's the magic. That's the law of attraction. The law of attraction is not about manifesting stuff. Although if you need to manifest stuff, go right ahead. But this is, eventually, but this is what they mean by the law of attraction. It's just the law of attraction. It's just a prayer. Stop it. Stop all this new age stuff. It's a prayer.
I love, Greg, also that you're recognizing to be gentle and kind with yourself. I have a hard time doing it too.
Really?
I was raised, we don't get sick. You're not sick. Get your ass up. You know, nothing's wrong with you. That's how my culture was. I was raised. So I didn't even believe my kids were sick. You're not sick. Get up. Get your ass. You know, no, we're not kind. We're not gentle. And I was told to, not a new concept, but nothing I've ever practiced, was to go back and take care of my little girl.
Right. Yeah.
And treat me like that now.
Yeah.
And it, you know, I cry all the time. I can't stop crying. But I know you just gotta feel it and let it go. And be kind to yourself. And I love the herbal. I love the Bach remedies. I think that don't let anybody tell you anything they don't know about. You know, we have to trust our experiences. And I love a natural way because I wasn't going allopathic. I agree. It's a disease management protocol here. So, and you know, we're here to heal on levels and be kind. Let's be kind to ourselves. Breathe through it. And I also can fall off of my disciplines. That's how I feel. I treated my bipolar diagnosis. I had to have self-discipline, which I love that we reframed that into just self-love. That's what self-discipline means to me, that I am loving and caring for myself in ways that support me. And if that means that I get up at, you know, ideally early, and I read, I meditate, I read, then I go exercise and I juice, and then, you know, all these things were tools that I used. I mean, because to me, if I go to the doctor and they say, well, are you, you know, what are you doing? I'm laying in bed eating junk and, you know, watching, you know, well, how are you going to be helped? All they can do is give you, nothing's healthy about that lifestyle. So to me, I had to do my part before I go to the doctor and say, now help me, because I do this, I'm doing this, and I'm still having these symptoms. You see what I'm saying? So I wanted to take as much responsibility and then go and say, well, I still need assistance with that. And I think this is what we come here for. We come here for more spiritual assistance, because even though we do these tools, we're talking about grace, which isn't under the laws of man, right? Grace is quantum. Grace means in an instant. Grace means time doesn't matter. And I love that, because I'm not worried about time anymore. I didn't have time. I'm a fitness professional, and I am getting ready to launch. And this is like, who does this at this age and time? Nobody. But we're not under any laws here. But we're saying we can be outside of these caterpillar, this level, this 3D reality. And when we turn, and look at this, it's even a quarter turn is going this way, right? I mean, we might be I feel like facing this way. You know, here's the 3D world. I was under it because I wasn't even able to keep up in the 3D world, right? So I'm like, why is everybody looking so happy in this 3D world? I'm down here. And then I went like this. Okay, I'm going to try to do this, get money, get a job, do the right thing, blah, blah. Boom.
Yeah.
So it is kind of like that.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to share with you, Greg, you know, it's just an honor and a privilege to have you on this for
it really is.
A year.
It really is.
Because I get to share with you that the parable of Kenny also contained a disassociation. Okay. There are things about my childhood which I don't remember, and people have told them to me. And I said, maybe that's the reason why I wasn't supposed to remember what happened. And that was a habit I carry through into my, into my 20s and 30s. Was I had learned as a child to block things out. Now, what the second thing I wanted to, and trust me, Greg, this is exactly what we've been talking about over there. This is caterpillar, butterfly. Very simple. But the one thing I wanted to share with this group was what came to me to this. We all know, I mean, listen, there was really basically one grievance in my story. The big one was my father. Wonderful. We choose these parents.
That's so unique, may I say? That's such a unique story.
All right. And then, then there were other grievances, but that one was the big one. And, what my miracle looked like, one of many, because it doesn't wake up. Spirit, gives you little pop snaps. But was when I did one of those medicine ceremonies in California. I think that was August of 2020. And the moment it hit, I said, "We're going in for the jugular. This time it's Dad. It's Dad." And my prayer was, "Show me." I was commanding the medicine. The Course in Miracles says, "I am entitled to a miracle." Well, I told the medicine, "I am entitled to this miracle." And it was not real complicated, but it's worth mentioning here, and I want to document it on YouTube. I got in front of the campfire in Santa Cruz with that command, and I opened my eyes, and there was my father in front of me. The first time I had ever made eye contact with him. And he was me. The medicine gave me what I wanted to see. The holiest ground on earth is where an ancient hatred has been turned into a present love. There are no others. I was doing it to myself. This goes even a little bit deeper. Beyond that, it was the guilt. And that's also the mental illness, was the guilt. My mother's gone. How could I possibly apologize and make it up to her? She's not gone. Because in order for me to make that statement, I have to believe in death itself. I have just unbelieved in death. My mother is still here. I can do it now. Show's over, folks. We're doing it to ourselves, and there's no past and no future. It's all now. My responsibility for the next 40 years, while I'm still in this meat suit, is to do just like Beloved said: practice and remind myself every single day.
Where did you hear that term? I heard meat suit before too. I heard it one.
The meat suit.
I never heard. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah. What we're dealing with is a double hurt. We have that originally hurt, and then we have the help that hurt too. So we're dealing with two things. And I like that. That's the thing I like about Jody's ministry, is she doesn't impose her thing on you. I've had 3 sponsors so far, and they have all wanted me to recover in the way that they wanted me to recover. And psychiatry wants you to recover in the way they want you to recover. I don't know. I've been hurt by the help, so it's been
and it'll carry over into spiritual communities. Trust me, because the forgiveness opportunities are a deep rabbit hole.
What are a deep rabbit hole?
The forgiveness opportunities are a deep rabbit hole. I left AA and went into spiritual communities because I said I got to find a higher level of healing. I just brought the sponsors with me.
You just what?
I just brought the sponsors with me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess all of it does a little bit of good, but it's just it's more about you than this. I've realized I have gotten lost in the solutions. I got lost in the psychiatry. I got lost in the help, and I had I'm realizing, I have to, a lot of the times I have to distance myself from the help and realize, is this what I need? Because I get lost in the help itself. So I have to pull myself back and, give myself some distance from all of it.
I don't know.
Well,
I have somebody now, and
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I didn't want it,
Uh-huh.
and I had to look at that because when they're really good, that means I cannot outmaneuver them.
Uh-huh.
It to me, for me to help me, it's
Uh-huh.
like a fucking chess game,
Yeah.
and I'm not fucking helping.
Uh-huh.
I'm here for help, but I don't fucking trust you. So I mean, come on, how's that set up? How's that gonna work?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Can you help me? What are you perfect? That's how
Uh-huh.
I am. I'm looking at your motherfucking, I'm gonna attack you now.
Mhm.
Because unless you're perfect, you can't help me. How do I know? You see what I'm saying? So even I see this particular person I'm working with, oh my goodness. I mean, like 10 steps ahead. I can't out clever it. And I'm like, oh, you're so wrong. You're so wrong. You're so wrong. And then when I listen back to our session, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. You see, I had to listen again. Sometimes I have to listen again, go back to these even and listen again and see what we didn't want to hear. How, oh, this person is listening to me. That was another one. Does somebody really listen to you? To have somebody really listen to you?
And
and even though at the time I didn't think she was listening. I didn't think she
Uh-huh.
was. I didn't think she was hearing what I said. Like, she's fucking not
Right.
hearing me.
Yeah.
And I'm like yelling. I'm saying, I'm saying again, motherfucker, you're not. Yeah. And then I go back and listen. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, that was wow.
And I want to add one thing, Greg. Perfect. You are on the cusp of another great discovery, and let me share with you what that discovery is. I had it too. I had the belief that they know better. I had the belief.
I don't like
they
that.
know what's best for me.
I don't like that. They know better.
I finally had to take the reins of my own recovery and take the reins of my own awakening and say thank you. But ultimately, it's my guidance. It's mine. Ultimately.
A friend of mine said when he talks to doctors, sometimes he says, "No, thank you very little."
Well put.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well put.
Yeah.
I like that.
Uh-huh.
I like that.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
They're not called teachers, they're called messengers.
Right.
And my teacher was not, David Hoffmeister will not let us compromise. Basically, if I can just paraphrase what he says, everyone's a messenger. The difficult ones, and I just got done with a very difficult one. Another messenger. There's no compromise on this. What inside of me? I still believe this is deep shit. So I'm cutting myself a lot of slack so I can hope other people can cut themselves some slack. Basically, in a nutshell, I still believe that I'm a human being. I still believe I was born 4, 5, 6, 7. I still believe, that on and on and on. And, as my friend,
fine.
Drew,
we can't deny that. That's part of it. Crazy, make it crazy too, because just let's accept that. Go ahead. Sorry.
I haven't talked to him in probably close to years and years, but he was an ex-Buddhist monk, but all he would say to me was, "How's that working for you, Kenneth?" But these have got to be brought forward because we keep saying be gentle with ourselves. And beloved, you gave us a gift, and I got it recorded. You showed us some tears. Thank you. That's the gift for this YouTube archive. You show us the vulnerability all over the spectrum. We get to be angry. We get to be loud. We get to be sad. We get to be vulnerable. This is just all, it's sort of like, we were all raised this way. Otherwise we wouldn't have been meant to become mentally ill. We were raised with this narrow parameter of acceptability. Not too much happiness, but not too much sadness. let's keep you in, let's march. No,
That Puritan.
no, new
It's so
step.
true.
It was like that movie Pleasantville.
Oh my God. I gotta watch
Everything's
that again.
black and white.
Yes.
And someone says color. What? Color? Color? Yes, color. And it's color, folks. My Aunt Teresa, and I'm going to document this too. She came from Mexico City, and she threw a monkey wrench into my conservative family because that woman had color. That woman had sadness. That woman went from pole to pole, pole to pole. Now, you know who won that pony race in my family? I mean, they'd put her in mental hospitals, of course, when you go from pole to pole. Because she successfully raised the first functional member of our family. Successfully. Document this. Christina, if you're watching this, sweetie. Because she was honest, she had integrity, came from a place of love. Was she all well assembled? Are we supposed to be well assembled? Does she have grievances? Of course. Was she honest about them? Yes. Was Spirit using her? Now, there's where I want to go with this. Spirit used that woman. Not only did she save my life, suicide, but she raised the only functional member of my family. Okay. I was walking down Fifth Avenue one day, and I was about ready to end it. Okay. Now, I looked on it was so many years ago. We didn't even have the iPhones. We still have the call cell phones. It was a little blinking light. Press that in my voicemail. It was Aunt Teresa sobbing. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Where did that come from? That didn't come from the five senses. It was channeled. So I just want to, beloved, you and I have been, we met on the whole premise of bipolar. And, she let it rip and she got it out. I sat with her. She one of the biggest lessons she gave me was when her son died from alcoholism. My oldest cousin, I'm 55, he'd be approaching 60. My oldest cousin, he checked out about age 39. She tried to help him. She was the only one who tried to help him. But when it came time for the service, I sat with her and she wailed. She's screaming. She was grieving. She wasn't going to hold it in. Latinos don't do that. She was my teacher. And by the way, she ain't gone. So it took courage, and yeah, they threw her in a few mental hospitals. She probably channeled a lot of spirit there, and probably saved a lot of lives in that hospital too.
Made me cry when you said Holy Spirit used her. And I like that because maybe we're here for that. So we can be used to help others, so they don't have to go through what we did as deep. You don't have to suffer like that.
I've seen it happen, and so have you. Why else are we here?
Why?
What's the point? Why? Why not? They could have hired a contractor to remodel the upstairs, for Christ's sake. No. I'm here for this. It's who we are.
We have to see the light in each other, see beyond the mental illness. Don't be scared. Don't be scared of us. Like my granddaughter said, Grandma, you're scary. Because when I say no, I mean it. I'm not their parents. Their parents say no all day long and they don't pay no mind. But I didn't grow up like that. When my no says no, it's scary because that's how my mom said no. But my mom said, no, we shit in our pants. She
You
was
got it.
real scary.
Beloved, thank you. That's the topic of the Zoom call. Don't be frightened of me.
Yeah,
No, I'm
don't
serious.
be scared.
We've got 10 minutes left. And I
We're
want
not
the
scary.
last 10 minutes for that. Don't be
Yeah.
frightened of us.
Don't be, even if you know, or they're acting weird or whatever, just, and if you know, unfortunately, once you have a label, it's, I'm out about it because it's important. It's important to be, for me. For me, it's important because I'm still a person. I'm not that label. I'm not my illness. I'm not my car. It's like I'm not my body. And when I can say that to myself, then I can see you as beyond whatever illness you may be presenting, whatever body you may be presenting to me, whatever personality you may be presenting to me. Because beyond all that, I want my grandchildren to know I can yell and everything, but I love you. I'm a loving person. I'm just very I'm expressive. I'm not calling expressive. I'm reframing everything because I'm not going to apologize for me anymore. I'm me. I'm a colorful person. I have a big personality. I have a lot of energy. And
yeah, you are. You're
right?
vivid.
I'm just, and I want to keep saying I'm sorry. I need to behave better. No, I don't want to, I am me.
Yeah.
And I'm authentic.
Right.
How about that?
Yeah.
And there's no one else that can be me. There's no one else can be you. Hallelujah.
I realized I'm kind of straight to the point myself. I'm kind of a lot of my memory as I'm healing, I'm seeing that I'm kind of a gentle, a little bit effeminate person, but I'm also very crass and kind of raw too, yeah. I'm starting to find out who I am, but and one thing I realized about this, Kenneth, the benzo brain, it says, when will I heal? It's got that kind of repetitive looping rumination and everything. And as my brain's calmed down, I'm starting to realize when, I don't know when, this is all going to take a lot of time, when it's going to take a long. I'm willing to give it another year before I come
Greg,
off.
don't wait until
next pill. Huh?
If I can just wrap this up,
Go ahead.
I can get a little bit didactic, but it does come from love. If I would have waited for to heal, I would, I'd still be sick. We don't wait before we heal.
Right.
We do it now. That goes back to the law of attraction. The law of attraction doesn't work when we wait. Don't ever wait till we're ready. It's the Nike commercial.
And it doesn't have anything to do with whether you're on pills or whether you're on this or whether this is this. Healing is, we are healed. It's just, can we connect to that true part that of us that are healed? The only thing, we're connecting to our illnesses.
But
and
it does take time.
I don't know, because I'm healed when I realize it, and then I'm unhealed when I forget, and then I'm healed when I connect again and realize it, and then I'm lost when I have a grievances and I'm hurt and I'm upset and I'm crying, and I don't feel like I'm healed. I feel like I'm back at square one, or when I go off on somebody and they say that. But healed to me means I can have peace. I mean, if I had to wait to have peace, I would be dead, because I suffered too much. You understand? Those little, and that's why I'm grace, because I got grace. It was too much, and then grace happened. So give space to that, because it's once we say help, I can't, then help can come, and that is grace comes and gives you a experience of being loved, knowing that you're loved, and that you are loved unconditionally.
Well, I guarantee, Greg, there is no reference point for this, and we cannot figure it out. And I also guarantee that what Beloved just said came from a place that's worth recording and must be documented.
Mm-hmm.
It's called grace.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no hope. Because hope says we have to have a future. There's no hope. This is hopeless. Thank God. Thank you, God.
Wrap it up. I want to talk more about grace.
Well,
You got to wrap it up.
we got about 3 more minutes.
What is the definition of grace? I've never really understood it. Definition. Give me a definition. I heard
You're
that's
still
a hard
trying to figure it out, Greg. You're still trying to figure it out. And I'm here to say we can talk, we can record hundreds of hours trying to figure it out. It's time to get out there and live life and take the risks and let the grace find us, because I want you to find your own definition.
Okay.
It's an experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's an experience.
Mm-hmm.
It is out. It's not of this world that we know. It's out of this realm. That's why it's so difficult to define, right? Because it's not, the ego can't understand it. The ego has no room for grace. The ego says, you're on this, it takes this to get off of it, you're going to suffer like this, it's going to take this long, and you're going to have these effects from it, and this is science. It's facts. Grace comes in.
Now, and Greg, I want you to, we're going to wrap this up now, but I want you to go back and watch this archive, because what just came out of Beloved is an example of grace. The message that just came, Taylor, to answer your question, came from grace. She just answered it.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
You're going to watch the archive.
Okay.
All right. So Kenneth Price on Sunday, March 19th, and this is our 69th recording for psychiatricsobriety.com. You know why I record these? Because grace, what came through Beloved, not only, I just witnessed a miracle. Greg, when you go back to this archive, watch it, because Beloved gave us a miracle. Thank you.
Okay, I'll say
in a very deep place. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave your comments below. Visit the website psychiatricsobriety.com. Join us on Sundays at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. noon Eastern time, and leave your comments below. God bless you, and may the force be with you. Have a good